Joining me now, Julia Yaffe, senior editor for The New Republic, and Peter Brooks, former CIA officer and former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense during the George W. Bush administration. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate it. Peter, I want to start with you. Putin says Russia's special security services are not engaged with him, with Snowden, despite the sensitive information he has. What's your take on this?
That's certainly a possibility. I kind of doubt it. I would imagine the Russians are looking for the best deal here. What's going to benefit Russia the most, whether dragging this story out, making Obama look bad, or trying to get at the information he already has.
Do you think there's any possibility, Julia, that he walks into Russia with these 3 computers packed with all this intelligence information? Do you think there's any chance that the Russians now do not possess every gigabyte on those computers?
I don't think there's any chance of that. A source in the Russian security services told a Reuters reporter in Sheremetyevo airport that whatever's on those computers is, quote, a tasty morsel for any security service, including our own.
The Chinese probably already have it, so maybe they'll get it from the Chinese.
Do you think that any other president with any other relationship with the head of Russia would be able to get a different result than what we're getting right now?
Look, I mean, we've gone from reset to regret with Russia. You know, the meeting at the G8 was a total disaster for Obama. Russia's unhappy. Remember the spy scandal? I think I was on here with you when you were wearing that wig, remember? But, you know, this is an opportunity to make Washington look bad. This is an opportunity to, you know, bolster Russia as an image in the international community. So I think they're trying to take advantage of Obama's weakness.
Do you think that any president, any U.S. president, could be handling this any differently?
I think it could be handled differently if not for 2 words, Victor Bout. So if maybe this came before Victor Bout, I don't know if you remember the arms smuggler, the Russian arms smuggler who was nabbed in Thailand and then taken to the U.S. for trial, and he's still in prison here. The Russians were about as mad as that as we are about Edward Snowden. So I think, and we did not extradite him as Russia asked. So I think maybe the Americans would have been able to get a better deal before Victor Bout. But
and
now,
Magnitsky, too. The Magnitsky,
explain what that is.
Magnitsky, that he was a Russian accountant who was died in a Russian prison, and there has been some U.S. legislation about that, limiting the travel of some Russians to the United States. They were very, very unhappy about that.
Do you think there's any possibility, I mean, would there be a prisoner swap? Is that crazy to think?
I don't think so. I think Snowden's going to stay in Moscow.
You think he's just going to stay there?
I don't think he's going to make it to Ecuador.
Because?
Just a hunch reporting out of there, and also, you know, he has so much knowledge that's valuable to the Russians. Also, he has revenge potential for the Russians. Like, just keeping him there while we keep Victor Bout is just so, it probably tastes so good to the Russians.
The only thing I would say differently is that he goes from whistleblower to spy. You know, in that case, if he starts turning this stuff over willingly, there's been some revelations. He told the Chinese that NSA was spying on them. So, and we've charged him with espionage, but I think it lowers his status significantly if he goes to a country like North Korea or Cuba or Venezuela or Ecuador or Russia or something along those lines. I doubt very much he'll stay in Russia. There could also be a ruse here. He has a very strong support network, and they could be saying he's going this place and he's going another direction. The possibility of him diverting his travel is possible as well.
If the Russians let him go.
All right. Julia Yaffe and Peter Brooks, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.